Uh,
Yes, it is. Well, I did mute it because I didn't know who was going to join. Let me just mute real quick. Hello. Sorry, I was turning on my audio. Hello, Igita. Yes, Igita. I do remember. I do. Sorry, it's been so long. It's been like a year probably. But that's on me because I hadn't streamed in so long. Before this, I mean. I'm doing great. How are you doing? Your English is still good, so that's good to see. So I'm streaming with somebody here who I actually have Discord muted, but it's one of my friends, Mucho Tiempo. Yeah, it's been so long because I took a break. I was so busy with working, right? Was that what I was doing? I don't know what I was doing. I might have been doing nothing.
Hey, you should plug in that I'm your.
And I'm here with my artist, my creator. Thanks. He practicado mi inglés. Yes, it's good. We were gonna read a visual novel, so maybe you can learn some more English listening to this, but let me just load into this.
Can they hear me?
Yeah, I unmuted Discord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm here with my friend. We're reading a story together. Yeah, it's this one. They're all the same. I just want to make sure I'm clicking the right one.
Sometimes
Yes.
the stream gets it.
El nombre. Hello, JT. I can't really read the rest of your name, but hello. Estamos leyendo Umineko y es un God. I want to say juego because it's not a game, but no, there's so many people and now Sweeb is here. Did you guys know Rick Astley dropped a Pink Pony glove cover? Yeah, Sweeb, I don't know if I want to Google Rick Astley.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get trolled. But Igita, ese juego es como un libro de misteria y how do you say murder?
Murder?
No, matar is to kill. It's es como Persona 5. Un poco en como hay mucho diálogo. Is that even a word? There's a lot of words, muchas palabras y tiene un largo story. Pero este no tiene nunca de how do you say gameplay. Solamente es de leer. Nada más de leer. Spanish stream, yeah. You can hear me struggle to explain in Spanish. Oh, that's right. And so last time,
last time,
This poor, beautiful mother who is so lovely and is unloved by everybody. Feel so bad for her. Her husband's shitty. Her daughter is being a brat. Her purpose in the family is non-existent. Or a poor woman. Anyways, let's figure out if they will reconcile. She's in big depressed mode. She has headaches. Oh my god. Can't catch a break. What the heck are you doing in a place like this? Thought you were a ghost. Just like always, her words were rough and not at all like a girl's. Instinctively, words of rebuke rose to Natsuhi's throat. However, their strength gave out and they didn't escape her lips.
Jessica, forgive me, but my headache's all...
Or extra quiet. Sorry, I'm like trying to turn off Discord. Maybe the violins are just so loud I can't hear anything else.
Please, leave me be.
Look, that singular wrinkle under her eye, it says a lot about her. She's so exhausted.
This is the deepest,
I see.
deepest...
Why are you quiet? I can't hear you.
I'm not trying to be quiet. I'm like talking at like a normal volume.
I need my earbuds in. Jessica was seeing her mother in a position of feebleness for the first time, so she was considerably disconcerted. Until just now, she had been filled with contempt for all of the parents, including her mother. But now those feelings had been completely swept away. Her mother's utterly exhausted face had wiped them all out. In its place, the words George had told her floated back up to her mind. Our parents are doing their best in their own way, and because their families are counting on them, they can't afford to keep everything pleasant, and have a heavy responsibility to fight. Maybe her mother had been standing around in this dimly lit hallway because no one had tried to understand her in that. Jessica hated her mother, but she had no intention of speaking kindly to Natsuhi just because she was looking a bit frail. But when she attempted to speak kindly to her mother anyways, she had to clench her fists and gather up the words from deep in her heart. It sounds like you've really got your hands full with that meeting thing.
It has nothing to do with you. Please, go somewhere else.
Is your headache bad? Did I get some medicine?
You shouldn't trouble yourself. Please, leave me alone.
He wasn't being cold. She just wanted her daughter to go far away. I'm like... Why can't I talk? So before I stopped... Before I fixed my audio, and I was super self-conscious about my S sounds, I intentionally tried to make them quieter as I spoke. But even though I fixed that, I still keep doing that. So now I'm just talking weirdly, and I don't pronounce like certain parts of words.
It's okay, no one looked that deeply into that.
I can hear it because it's coming out of my mouth.
I don't know what's coming out of your mouth aside from Umineko.
She just wanted her daughter to I'm saying daughter to go far away so that she wouldn't have to bump against Natsuhi's own short temper. But there was no chance Jessica would realize this because she's stupid. Oh, okay. She hung her head looking sad. Seeing that expression, Natsuhi recognized that kindness that Jessica was trying to muster. She gave her head a small shake to drive away her own unkind feelings. And I'll leave. I'll be with the other cousins, so don't get in the way of the adults. So I don't get in the way of the adults. See you later.
Wait there. Can you not hear me?
No, I heard you. I took a bite of a chip.
Wait there. After he proceeded to destroy some nice Doritos.
She called Jessica, who was trying to leave and looked lonely, to a stop. What?
Thank you for being so considerate. It isn't good for me. Good. It isn't good for me to go sleep and leave you alone.
Did you read it? Oh, that's me!
Yes.
Don't talk like that, you'll bring bad luck.
I've made you worried. But I'm okay now. I will go.
If I let my daughter see me this feeble any longer, I'll make her feel more uneasy. With that in mind, Natsuhi left Jessica with words of gratitude and made to depart. This time Jessica called out to her mother's back. Natsuhi stopped and turned around, asking what business Jessica had with her. But Jessica herself didn't see why she'd stop her mother. And for a while she smiled wryly, muttering to herself as she hesitated over what to say. She was poking around her pockets when her hand touched something and she took it out. Mom, I was given a charm today. What was it? Charm against magic? I'm pretty sure that you were supposed to hang it on from your doorknob, I think. Forget it. There's no point in me having it, so I'll let you take it. It was a scorpion charm that Maria had given to her on the beach. Although she heard of its various effects from Maria, Jessica's mind had gone blank and she was just barely able to say even that much. So, didn't they say it gave you like peace of mind and in protection or something like that?
Something like that.
I think.
Maybe she'll have protection get bullied.
Maybe it'll help her head. But if that's not what it said, I don't understand why she would just give this away.
This is like a very crappy gift.
Maria made this out of some fucking sticks and cardboard.
It's like imagine it's just like an elementary school or just like doodle like made out of like. Cause like I used to do that as a kid. I don't know. Maybe it's like nice craftsmanship.
Jessica, thinking that her mother probably wouldn't accept it anyway, immediately drew back her hand she had stuck out, grasping the charm. When Natsuhi came back to take it, she was extremely shocked.
What is this? Some kind of prize toy?
Bro, we gotta get her off the screen. I can't.
What?
She's too pretty.
Oh my god.
Well, I think it's something like that. I guess you wouldn't really expect a charm like this to look like a toy and do anything. But her mother took the charm from where she grasped it in her hand.
Thank you. I'll take good care of it. Sometime soon, in exchange, why don't I give you a charm that was important to me when I was a child?
People just have charms?
I mean, I have rocks.
It's not a charm, that's just some rocks.
No, but they have like how like what's it called? Some like rocks are supposed to mean like certain things, and like y'all like.
Aren't those just scams?
Okay, but they're kind of neat.
That's not why I give it to you. But well, if you really say so.
Then I will rest now. My headache's awful. Try not to stay up too late.
Sure. Natsuhi put the charm in her pocket and turned away. She then disappeared into the dark hall.
And they're not gonna go to sleep yet.
Are they really gonna sleep? And we're not.
It's not gonna be daytime.
It seems like the weather will be like this all day tomorrow, after all.
Dang. This makes the good weather we had earlier feel like a lie.
George, Aniki, and I were killing time in front of the parlor television. At that point, Jessica returned. Her face was still blank, but it looked like she had calmed down a little since the last time we'd seen her. Is Maria still in front of the portrait?
Nope. She came back and she's sleeping over there on the sofa.
You're in. Let's get everybody to bed.
Move on with the plot. Nope, she just came back. Blah, blah, blah. It's getting pretty late for her after all. Yeah, my head is starting to hurt too with how fucking long this night's been going on.
Looking at the clock, I saw it was a little past 10 p.m. Even if we were planning to stay up all night, it was about time to head back to our room. Well, my mom did have a room prepared for us in the mansion. What'll we do? I'd rather go back to the guest house. Going by what we saw of our parents, I think it'd be better if we weren't in the mansion.
I agree. Feels like they're telling us kids to mind our own business and stay out of the way. Let's be good little boys and girls and do that.
As we were talking about this, Aunt Rosa came into the parlor. She was looking all over restlessly, probably trying to find Maria. She's like, she went outside again. She's in the fucking rain.
She's fucking her issues with her fucking Rose again. Aunt Rosa, if you're looking for Maria, she's over there on the sofa. Yeah, I don't give a shit about my child.
Thank you. And she's out cold. We must move her to a bed. Wish I could do like a Marge voice.
Marge!
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was pretty good. It's just a stranger voice.
Yeah, I definitely can't do that for more than like one line. If you like, I'll carry you over to a bed. I almost did a Marge voice. Thanks. That would be wonderful. Are you all heading back to the guest house? Or are you going to stay in the room Natsu Nesta had prepared here? We were just talking about that. We just decided to head over to the guest house. I see. Then, could I ask you to take Maria with you? I'd feel much more reassured if she was with all of you cousins. In the words, she seemed to be concealing some regret that the adults, herself included, had deeply hurt Maria's feelings.
Leave it us, Aunt Rosa. After all, we do have an expert comforting Maria. Wait, what? We do have an expert at comforting Maria with us.
Are you talking about me?
No, I'm talking about myself.
I couldn't do it myself. We'll need everyone together. That's right. Battler, weren't you the one who hit it off with Maria when you were messing around earlier? Me? The portrait? She said this. Aunt Rosa smiled, looking truly happy. Thank you, everyone. It looks like our meeting will last until very late. So, sorry to burden you with this, but I'll be counting on you to all take care of Maria.
Hey, Maria. Are you sound asleep? We're going back to the guest house.
Maria muttered something indistinct, rolled over, and fell back asleep. Looks like she was sleeping deeply. She's really out cold. I'd hate to wake her. Right, I'll carry her. Maria's body was much lighter than it looked. I mean, how heavy could a 9-year-old girl who was 6 years ago weigh?
Yeah, you know, it's been 6 years from then, but she hasn't gotten that much heavier.
She used to weigh like 20 pounds, but now that she's 9, she weighs like 50. I mean, she gained 30 pounds. I mean, I have no idea how fucking much a little kid would weigh.
And 20 pounds? That's like 30 more, and then it's 50. That's kind of crazy.
Maria's body was oh wait. I lifted her up and put her on George Aniki's back. It was raining hard outside, and Aniki couldn't hold an umbrella and carry Maria at the same time. Looked like Aunt Rosa would come with us as far as the guest house to help. However, when she heard Uncle Cross's voice call out to her, she made a choice but to return. She had no choice but to return. Now that's the problem. I have to go back now. Is everyone returning to the guest house? And after we left the hall on the way to the entrance, the door of the servant room had opened and Chenin-chan stepped out. It's grown very dark. Allow me to guide you. That would be great, Shannon-chan. George-kun is going to carry Maria there. Could you hold the umbrella for him? Yes, certainly. Shannon-chan brought umbrellas for each of us and a flashlight to guide the way. We opened the front door. The downpour is quite terrific. It looked like we wouldn't have any spare time to take a pleasant walk and enjoy the nighttime rose garden.
Aniki, is she too heavy? She's like 50 pounds after all. Want me to carry her?
It's okay. I can at least carry Maria-chan. I'm truly grateful. Please take care of Maria. Sure, you got it. Then, I guess this is goodnight, Aunt Rosa. Then, I will see them over there and return here. I have to keep swapping voices. Yes, please. Aunt Rosa watched us leave. Yeah, I'm sorry for everything. Rosa's mumbling voice didn't reach the person in question, nor any of the kids, but disappeared beneath the sound of the rain. The clock for running over.
Only I applied for the position of a Maria for the position of Maria carrier. Oh God. And I would have gotten a chance to get all the titties.
That's not what I did. It's a misunderstanding. I thought if I didn't walk like this, George-sama would get all wet. On, quit babbling and go in. Being urged on by Jessica, we folded up our umbrellas and went into the guest house. Has everyone gotten their clothes wet? I can bring some towels if you want.
You don't need to worry about us that much. Thank you, Shannon-chan.
Ah, that's right. We were planning to play cards or something. Would you care to join us for a bit? Huh? Who had this Nate? Who had the night shift on today's schedule? I believe we had a special schedule during the family conference. Also, I think a few alterations have been made, so I will go and check.
Wait, go back to the mansion to find out. Don't force yourself.
Oh, that's alright. I can find out from the servant room in the guest house. Please excuse me for a short while. Ben-chan gave a quick bow and went into the guest house's servant room. The rest of us headed to the cousin's room and decided to put Maria in bed for the time being. She was sleeping very deeply and there was absolutely no signs of her eyes opening. For now, we'd get some soft drinks out in the room's refrigerator and drank those while playing some cards or something. Not Balatro or whatever we're playing these days. These days.
These gays, yeah.
Oh. Anan-kun? And you're here too, Genji-sama? What has happened with tonight's shift?
Cross has given us an order. We made sizable changes in the shift schedule.
Indeed. Goda-san now has the night shift at the mansion. Kennen and Kennen have the night shift in the guest house. Umesawa-san and I have been ordered to sleep in the guest house. Just now, a phone call came, saying that once you arrived, you were also to remain here for the rest of the night. Huh? That certainly is a sizable change. The shifts at the guest house and the mansion have been completely reversed, haven't they? Originally, Shannon and Cannon had been assigned to the night shift in the mansion, while the night shift in the guest house, where all the relatives had been staying, had been assigned to Goda, who had an abundance of experience in entertaining. Kumisama should have been sleeping in the guest house, while Genji should have been sleeping in the mansion. However, it seemed that Cross had suddenly ordered the schedule to be modified. The shift at the guest house and the mansion all have been reversed, and Genji was spending the night in the guest house. Why, probably?
After such a mysterious letter appeared, it is only natural that Cross-sama would suspect one of us. We serve directly under the master, so Cross-sama tried her best to keep us far away from family conflicts.
Does Emily think Goda's the dumbest and can't solve the riddle? So it's fine if he stays there.
I think it's because they hired Goda, but then like these two are.
Oh, that's right, she did, because she's the head of the kitchen.
She's the head of the kitchen. So like, it's not like he was employed by like the master. These people weren't employed by the master.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, my idea was funnier, so.
That was funnier. Like, just because yours is more logical doesn't mean yours makes sense.
Genji, Shannon, and Cannon were all permitted to wear the Ushiromiya family crest, the one-winged eagle. God, I want to say angel so bad.
One-winged angle.
As the servants who served directly under Ginzo. Of course, since they were working for the Ushiromiya family, they had to obey anyone's orders, but their only boss was Kinzo. Since only Kinzo had the right to employ them, even Cross couldn't have them dismissed on his own accord. Because of this, Cross and the others often viewed these servants as Kinzo's underlings and shunned them. And in fact, Kinzo seldom let anyone other than them enter his study. The sudden shift changed. It's probably a clear expression of the sense of mistrust that had caused. Considering the time Kinzo has left to live, this would certainly be the last family conference before the problem of the inheritance came up. On top of that, the mysterious letter that claimed to be from Beatrice had dropped out in the blue. Cross definitely wanted to keep Kinzo's loyal subjects away from the table of such delicate and important discussion. You would excuse me, I will go rest. If anything happens, call me immediately. Our guest tonight is a special case, after all. Yes, certainly, Genji-sama.
Yes, certainly Genji-sama.
Genji nodded back, went behind the screen, took off his jacket, and slowly began to relax after a day's worth of tension.
The ones who just returned now. Were they the children?
Yeah. The other relatives are having a conference in the mansion. It looked like it would drag on for quite some time.
And we've got it easy. It's already this late, and there's this weather.
We're just both eating chips. Yes, probably. I'm only saying this because Genji-sama isn't around. But I'm a little happy I was sent to the guest house, I guess.
Oh.
Back up, Cannon. Adam is not a bully.
Well, he's kind of harsh on Shannon.
Can do no wrong.
How do you have another reason?
It's not as though I have another reason. Just now, I was asked to go to the children's room and play with them. Shannon hung her head apologetically, gazing at Cannon uncertainly. Cannon didn't try to meet her eyes and spoke curtly as he sighed. It looked like he hadn't planned on indulging his sister.
Yeah.
深夜勤を仰せ使ってる。
We're sudden night shift.
それに僕たち各自
It
遊
isn't
びのお
necessary
誘いは
for
必要ない
us to revert to respond to an invitation to play.
わかるね
I understand.
そんなこと分かってます。
Yes, I do understand. Cannon's shoulders drooped slightly. She had already expected that of Cannon. A stickler for rules would say something like that, but she still seemed a little discouraged. As Cannon flipped through a log book, he spoke without facing Shannon.
ならお子様方お待たせしてしまってるね
That means the children will be waiting for
深
you.
夜勤に当たってしまったから
I have to apologize and tell
ご
them
一緒
that
できないと
you will
謝
be
ってこな
staying
きゃ
with them.
行ってきなよ
Go and come back.
Yes.
私
I'll apologize and come
謝って
back.
くるね。
Shannon hurriedly stood from her seat. Before her brother's mood could change, and they flew out the servant room after giving a quick bow. As he watched her go, Cannon took a single deep breath. Genji's voice came from beyond the screen. Cannon,
Hello.
I will be here so you can go too.
源氏様
Genji-sama.
誘われたのはシャノンだけです
Shannon was the only one called.
僕は別に誘われては
It's not as though I was invited.
That is only because you were not there at the time. If you had been, you would have been invited as well. It is good to play as a child from time to time. Oh,
Dot, dot, dot,
I
dot,
was like, yo, say your
必
line.
要ない行為です
dot. No, such a thing is not necessary
人
for
の子
me.
には遊びも必要でしょう
Human children may need to have
が
play.
僕らは
But I am furniture.
家具で
I knew it. But we are furniture.
Is that
姉
so?
さんだって
His-san is also.
家具です
But Genji's is furniture, so why is he giving them advice?
人のふりをしたって
Even if she pretends to be a person,
後で苦しむだけなのに
it'll only hurt her.
僕はそれが分かっているから人に近づきたく
I
ないだけな
understand
んで
that,
す
so I try not to get close to people. That's all.
Genji did not understand anything after that. After a while, he stood up and used a pot of hot water to make powdered cocoa, serving some to Kennen as well. $1 hot cocoa.
I know exactly which brand. Is that for real? I have no clue.
バカ、声が大きいぜ。
Dumbass, you're too loud.
マリアが起きちゃうだろ。
You'll wake Maria up. Battler was so surprised that he yelled obnoxiously and scattered his cards everywhere. His voice caused Maria to turn over once, but she soon fell back to deep sleep. Jessica gave him a jab and he lowered his voice.
Still, seriously, now that you mention it, they really did have that kind of atmosphere, didn't they?
なるほどな。ジョージの兄貴が
Now I
な。
see, so George Aniki is.
George couldn't be seen anywhere in the room. A while ago, when Shannon came into the room, George suddenly said that he had forgotten something in the mansion and needed to go back and get it. Shannon said she would guide him, just like she had on the way to the guest house, and the two of them departed together.
いや、昔からそれっぽい
There's actually been
気配が
signs of that
あった
for a
んです
while
好きな
now.
ものを聞い
You
てきた
know,
り
questions about
趣味を
hobbies
聞い
and
てきた
favorite
り
things.
盛んに関
I
心
always
を
thought of it as a
持つだ
bit
けにしてはどう
I always thought it was a bit much for a passing interest, and look what's happened now.
そういや、昔からジョージの兄貴はシャノンちゃんにやたらと優しかった気がするぜ。
George Aniki is always overly nice to Shannon.
なるほどな。
Now I get it. Oh my god.
Hmm.
Now I get it.
天気予報によると今夜が一番ひどいみたい。
According to the weather report, it looks like he'll be at worst. He'll be at his worst
明
tonight.
日いっぱいもやまないらしいけど、
It also seems it'll last all day tomorrow, though it should get a little better.
そうですか。
Really?
では
Then maybe the boat won't arrive until the day after tomorrow. I hope that doesn't interfere with your work on Monday.
台風が来て
I already knew that typhoon would be coming beforehand. Just in case, I made sure I didn't have any plans for Monday, so it's okay. May not look like it, but I really am the type who can plan ahead in the schedule. George puffed out his chest, acting proud. Compared to the calm appearance George always has as the oldest cousin, he now looked amusing, like a little kid. Shannon chuckled at the abrupt contrast. It's no surprise you're so well prepared, as someone who will bring prosperity to the company someday.
やっぱり
Oh, new music's fine.
大変だね。
Well, making a company prosper really is a tough job. Money isn't the only thing that's important. I learned that well when studying under my father. Making a company prosper is like owning a castle and lending your subordinate. My dad really loved reading about great leaders during the warring periods of Japan. A hobby that's probably influenced by the fact that he shares Toyotomi... What the fuck did I... Toyotomi Hideyoshi's name. Much of the philosophy on managing business comes from talking about them. Did you know? Takeda Shingen, who was feared as a leader of the strongest cavalry corps in the warring periods, started out as his troops in complete disarray and didn't have the kind of strong leadership necessary to utilize them well.
そうなんですか。
Is that true?
なんだか言い
That's a little unexpected. Rose Bucket babbling about ancient history to a girl he likes is over for him.
He's 18, right?
You think he's 18?
Is he older than 18? Shannon's like 16, right?
He's
Or
like
is she-
21 or 23.
Oh. Wait, how old is Shannon again?
Shannon is 16.
Oh.
I think he's 23.
Oh.
For example, when a soldier succeeded well in battle, he would immediately honor them with a medal. Normally that kind of thing was put off until after the war, and they were all awarded at once. He continued this diligently while on the field of battle, so he gave them all like a golden sticker. You didn't die this time. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Immediately showing his appreciation for his troops' military exploits motivated them in an extremely significant fashion. Also, whenever one of his troops was brought down in illness, he would be the first to rush up to them and care for them and so on. Takeda Shingen wasn't just a man who led the strongest cavalry corps. He was in the warring period. He was the person who cared the most about his troops throughout the entire warring period.
そんな方だから
And because he was that kind of person, all of his troops went along with him. The truth was, Shannon had already heard this story several years ago. George would always glow and look like he was having a really great time. Oh, I missed the first sentence. Whenever the discussion of his father led to sort of... So Shannon just smiled without interrupting and urging him to continue. Of course, in the capitalistic world, money determines both your strength and the height of your fortifications. But you can't just build up a castle or succeed in war by yourself. Such things can only be accomplished with the support of many subordinates by borrowing their strength. After understanding this, when I look at my father's back, I realize how immature I am. I can clearly see how much competition he had to overcome before building up all he has now.
ジョージ様は
George-sama, you truly look like your father.
羨ましいです。
Balding. It's over. I'm jealous. I'm sorry, that's not how I meant it.
すみません。
I'm sorry, that's not how I meant it
私
either.
は別にそういう意味で言ったつ
The two of them look awkwardly at their feet, pointing their fingers together. Shannon had no parents. She had been brought in on it. She had been brought in. I need a drink. Hold on. She had been brought in. Oh fuck that. She had been brought up in an orphanage owned by Kinzo called the Fukuin House. Under the guidance of Kinzo, their honorary director, the orphanage offered members who excelled a chance for an on-the-job serving experience. What? If their efforts met with Kinzo's approval, they'd be able to leave the orphanage and work as servant. Isn't this slavery?
Okay.
So, he has an orphanage, and only the best orphans get to be his servants. They don't have a choice, bro. It's like either they work as a servant or they stay in an orphanage.
They can stay in the orphanage where they might have a chance of getting adopted, or they can just get out of the orphanage immediately, have better living quarters, but work instead. Probably until they're legal of age.
Yeah, it sounds kind of fishy.
It's just child labor. It's kind of interesting though, because Shannon is like has made a lot of mistakes in the past. So was she really the best orphan? How do they determine the best orphan?
Maybe it was, what was the excelled? Maybe she just got dumb.
She got dumb.
Maybe there's one thing she's good at.
She's hella good at poker.
Well, it says she messes up when she's nervous.
Yeah,
Maybe
but,
she's
like,
normally fine on a day-to-day.
she must have been nervous during like
The whole time we've seen her, yeah.
yeah.
This was considered to be the highest honor for those who lived in the orphanage. Servants of the Fukuin house all took names of the character on in them while they served. So Shannon wasn't really her name. The same went for Canon. His name is Can. Her name is Shan. Right?
I don't know.
All the members of the Fukuin house were orphans. At least they were all people who had been separated from their parents under special circumstances. Because of this, the orphans had been taught to think of each other as their own family. That's why it seemed so natural for both of them when Cannon called Shannon his sister. And while both Shannon and Cannon were working in the mansion today, there were several other servants possessing the On character in their name, such as Manon and Lennon, who often worked in a rotation schedule. However, there was not many servants who stayed in the Ushiramiya family for long. It was standard for them to quit after 3 years. So you could probably say that Shannon, who had been working there 10 years, was a notable exception to the rule. Working as a servant for the Ushiramiya family was a heavy burden to bear, but the pay wasn't bad at all. Working for the full 3 years would earn more than what was needed to enter mainstream society. I see. That's why. And even though the orphans realized that what a harsh task working the Ushiramiya family was, they would still hope to be accepted. Maybe the fact that Shannon managed to continue working for 10 years wasn't because she had more willpower than the other servants. Maybe she'd gotten stuck working 10 years because she didn't have the courage to say she wanted to quit.
Bro, but like that means she's been working since she's 6. That's like child labor.
Does she have to ask for a raise, or does she like get paid crumbs?
I don't know. I mean, they said they probably don't pay her probably pay her like.
But if people
Probably
work for 3 years, she can't leave when she's like 9.
That's true. What's
She
she
would
gonna
have-
do as a 9-year-old? So she'd probably have to stay till she's like at least 18.
Yeah.
So she has like a couple more years left. Before if she wanted to leave, she could.
She must be loaded, hopefully.
Hopefully. She could probably, cause like these are rich people and they have like gold bars and stuff.
Enzo couldn't even
It's like-
trust his own blood relatives, and those excellent servants from the Fukuin house were the only ones he could rely on.
I was gonna say, except like the fact that like Kinzo is gonna sacrifice his servants to Beatrice. So I don't think that's kind of worth it. If
Because-
they all die.
Because of that, Kinza would sometimes allow them to wear the family crest as servants under his direct control and have them work close to him.
えっと
Have you been working here for almost 10 years, right?
だいぶお
You
金
must have saved up a lot of money by now.
どうでしょう
I wonder.
別に私
It's not like there's anything in particular I'd like to buy.
ほんの何
After all, a few million yen
それで残りの
isn't
人
even
生
enough to live for the rest of your life.
目標の額があってお勤めを続け
So
る
the reason why you've been working all this time wasn't to hit some sort of target sum?
そうですね
Yes, that's right. I have nowhere to go outside this mansion. And I've been getting along well with Milady and the young servants.
奥様には時折お叱りを受けます
The madam doesn't scold me sometimes, but caring for the roses and cleaning the mansion is fun.
掃除も楽しい
でもそれはシャノンちゃ
But
んの
that can't be your entire life,
The one
Shannon-chan.
who cares for the roses.
さよちゃんの人生じゃない
He cut it.
What?
It's GG.
It's GG. She's dead. Maria-chan's gonna fucking kill her.
No, Sayo-chan. Shannon cast her eyes downward when she heard her real name. She understood what George wanted to say and fell silent.
僕は成人し
There's something I
社会人にな
learned
ってからも勉強
as I
して分かった
continued to study, even after becoming an adult and a full-fledged member of
子
society.
供の頃
A human's life is not as monotonous or short as we thought we were when we were kids. All school-age kids have fears they can't shake. You wonder whether they'll live the rest of their lives like sleepy classes after a monotonous, boring school day, spending their time in the carefree laziness without anything interesting happening until it's all over. Or life's only like that for underage students. Compared to a human's life, the time they spend as students is nothing more than a blink of an eye in the period where they break through their shells of immaturity. The inside of the shell might be a hot, suffocating, and boring world, but the world beyond has the shell is vast. Beyond that shell is vast and full of limitless possibilities.
君の人生は
So far, your life has been trapped inside that shell called Shannon.
君は自分の人生が
I think you're under the mistaken impression that your life will continue like this
勘違いし
forever.
てるんじゃない
それは
That's... Shannon couldn't deny those words. She'd been unable to harbor any clear doubts about her lifestyle. Doubts. And since she had never had any hope or goals for changing herself, she lazily continued living that way she always had. And if asked whether that life was satisfying, she wouldn't have been able to nod. She may have been intentionally averting her eyes from the truth. About George's astonishment, she would have continued pretending not to notice her real life slipped away, bit by bit, neglected.
庄司様
George-sama,
私は
is it
このまま
wrong
で
for me
い
to
ては
continue living
い
this
けない
way?
のでしょうか
いけないよ
Yeah, it is.
あ
Oh, and by the way, didn't you break one of our rules just now?
一つあったね
George immediately gave a strict answer, then broke out in a mischievous smile. Shannon already knew what she was being chided for, and she hung her head again, apparently embarrassed.
僕たちしかいない時は
Didn't you promise not to use Sama when the two of us are alone? I couldn't obey that as a promise, but if it was an order, I would have to obey it,
私は
because I'm furniture.
カムです
じゃあ命
And
令
then it's an order. Yes,
かしこまりました
certainly,
ジョージさん
George-san. As Shannon hung her head, her face red, she said George's name again, this time following up Hassan.
それでいいよ
Yes, that's fine, Sayo-chan. George smiled at Shannon. No, Sayo praised her small act of bravery. The short exchange alone made it clear how far back their relationship must have stretched. For a long time, the two talked as if the weather raging about them didn't even enter their thoughts. They talked about the many memories they'd built during their relationship and no one else knew about. Every once in a while, the flash of lightning would attempt to interrupt them, but this could sully neither the roses nor the time they spent blushing at each other. And then the screen cracked.
そうだ
That's right. I have wanted to show you something.
なんでしょう
What could it be? George, who had been speaking eloquently, suddenly started to stutter. Watching him, Shannon seemed to guess something. George timidly searched through his pocket. Something got caught in the depth of his pocket, and just like stuttering George, it took a while to get it out. A knife. It was a very small box. Small box covered in a deep blue velvet. A peculiar shape was enough to tell anyone who was resting inside. What was resting inside? Shannon had prepared her heart somewhat, certain beforehand that this was what he had been planning. But even so, when she actually saw it, she couldn't avoid blushing once more. George opened the box, took something out, and held it for Shannon to take. I want you to take this. I couldn't accept something so valuable. You can't take it? No. I'm furniture. Oh, I'm unworthy of such a thing. Sayo, this isn't a request. It's an order. Take this ring, okay? If it's an order, I cannot disobey. Yep, that's right. Well done. Oh, art. Shannon, not wanting to show her bright red face, timidly accepted the ring with from George's hand while still staring at the ground. The ring wasn't a simple accessory, huh?
I actually spoiled myself on Umineko.
What did you do?
But I'm just saying, there's
What did you look up?
there's trans girls in this.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you even spoil something like that? What did you Google?
I don't know. I was like searching up Umineko and I saw a trans flag, right? And I was like, what? And then, cause like yesterday I was like, I was like at San Francisco, right? And I was searching up Umineko because I was bored, and I saw a trans flag on one of the characters. So I was like sitting there like, what? And I searched it up, and apparently there's an implied trans character, like trans female, I think, in the story. And I know how much you like those.
How do you say it like that?
I don't know, maybe just to keep you interested.
It's gonna be like one line in episode 5.
No, I think it's like a big thing, because like everything Umineko content has, there's a shit ton of writing of people being like, yeah, this character is trans, and it was implied that this is their backstory, and like, anything can be interpreted. So yeah.
We'll have to see about that. This ring wasn't a simple accessory. It was a noble object meant since ancient time to be offered to a special woman. Re-explaining the importance of a fucking engagement ring.
I was confused if he liked it romantically.
There's no platonic way to give a ring to somebody.
I don't know. I gave it to my mom.
That's different.
I don't know. I'm like really stupid when it comes to romantic advances. I usually just think people are being friendly.
Like to give a ring is like, especially when you pull it out like that. If it's like in a box, then it's not meant romantically. However, if somebody pulls it out of their pocket and then gives it to you, a little different. Therefore, while George could order her to take it and could not or Therefore, while George could order her to take it, he could not order anything beyond that. Anything beyond that would depend not on an order, but on Shannon, no Sayo's own will. So from here on, I'm not ordering you anymore. Sayo, I want you to give me your answer by tomorrow, without using words. You understand? How should I? I won't order you any further, so this isn't an order. But a ring is something you put on your finger after all. If you like it, you can put it on any finger you choose. Shannon only pretended not to know. She already understood what he wanted her to do. But she was standing at the huge crossroad of her life.
もうこんな時間だね。
Well, late it's gotten.
今夜はこれくらい
Let's
にしよ
call
う
it a day. George turned away from Shannon, acting a bit bluntly.
君に
I could probably order you to wear it on your left hand. You might be timid and dependent enough to actually obey that kind of order.
臆病でも
But I want at least this last step to be done of your own will, Sayo. Now understand? Yes.
だから
So that's my order.
今夜よく考
I want you to think about it well tonight and show me your answer tomorrow. Okay, we just repeated this whole thing again. And it nodded back. Today was the culmination of their many days spent together. The moment certainly hadn't come to a surprise to Shannon.
そろそろゲストハウスに戻ろう
We should better head back to the guest house. If we're taking it longer, they'll make the others worry about us. The rain stopped for this. Oh,
すみません
I'm sorry, I just remembered something I had to do in the mansion, so
しまして
I have to go back to the mansion. She's lying. She doesn't have anything to do there. She's supposed to be at the guest house.
こんな時間に
At a time like this? Is that true? George stared into Shannon's face as he laughed mischievously. He definitely saw through Shannon's lie. However, when he saw how she felt, he could sort of understand that she might have been so embarrassed she wanted to be alone. So because George realized the meaning behind Shannon's lie, he accepted it.
I thought he only sees her like once a year.
Maybe.
And like, what is their age gap? Let me search up Shannon.
I got this. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. How old is George Ushiromiya from Umineko?
Okay, I found this on the web. How old is George Uriah?
No. That's not what I asked. I'm pretty sure he's
What?
23.
Okay, so I searched it up and it's like, honestly, if you think that's an issue, just remember George was already interested in Shannon back before Battler left the family. 17-year-old in high school, pining over a 10-year-old still in elementary school.
Did he really say that? I don't remember. Well, actually, yeah, because Jessica. Well, no, I don't remember too much what they said back then. I know Jessica knows about it, but I don't know about Battler. But if Battler knew about it, then it would have been 6 years ago.
There's a big age gap that
I know Battler remembers Shannon's existence, but not that he was.
she's 16 and then George is... He's 23, yeah, 16, 23.
Oh, problematic age gap in my Japanese game. Why did I say gap?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I just decided to question. I was just questioning it because I thought I was misremembering something.
Shannon entered the entrance hall to the mansion and was loitering and was tottering 8? A mixture of exaltation, bro, fuck. A mixture of exaltation and uncertainty gave her a feeling that she couldn't easily describe. It swelled up in her chest until it felt like it was about to burst. After stopping for a second in front of the servant room, she took a deep breath to calm her heart and opened the door. Inside, Goda, who had been ordered to take the midnight shift at the mansion tonight, was absorbed in a worn-out crossword puzzle magazine. Oh, she did go back to the mansion. He looked up for an instant to see if one of the family had come, but then realized it was a fellow servant. He returned to the puzzle as if nothing happened.
あの、園児様より
Could you someone told me to come and help you?
お手伝いにつくように言われてまいりました。
No?
ああ、そうですか。それは助かります。
Is that so? That's a relief.
Did he say that? I don't remember him saying that.
そろそろ戸締まりの見回りに行きたかったのですが、ここを開けてもいいものか困っていたのです。
Oh, this is me. I was just about to go check that the mansion was fully locked up, but felt uneasy at leaving this room
何
unused.
しろ、 旦那様方の
After
会
all,
合は
crossing
ま
the
だだいぶ続き
others
そうで
meeting
すから
looks
ね。
as though it will continue for quite some time.
Why does he want to defend the servant room?
いつ何時お茶のご用命があるかもわかりませんし。
From those pesky, I don't know. They might request some tea at any moment.
そうですよね。
That's true. Then what shall we do? Should I watch
ではシ
over?
ャノンさん、申し訳ありませんが、お屋
In
敷
that
内の
case,
見回
forgive
りを
me,
お願い
Shannon,
し
and
ます。
I'll ask you to patrol the mansion.
私はここで親族の皆さんのご用命の待機をしておりますので。
I'll stay here, waiting for family's order.
Yes.
はい。
Shannon was slightly disgusted. Even though she had come to help out as a favor, she was casually being forced to do the job of the person actually on duty. Furthermore, after one-sidedly being forced to task on her, Goda returned to his magazine once again and became immersed in his crossword puzzle. What an asshole. Shannon bowed her head as a token of sign of respect for her elder, then left the room and patrolled the mansion. Thanks to her being a bit ticked off, she managed to suppress the floating feeling she had been up until just now. Anyway, she couldn't let Genji or Kanon see her look like this. She wanted a little time to herself until her heart calmed down, so maybe going on patrol wouldn't be so bad. We all go to bed today. She began to hear the tumultuous voices of the family discussion happening in the dining room. Somehow she was speaking at great length, only to be interrupted by someone else. The second person also began in a very long, drawn-out fashion until yet another person interrupted. I kept on repeating. It was as though their displeasure was seeping out of their voices. They had been told to go to the guest house, so it would be bad if Cross discovered her. Thinking this, Shannon dashed past the dining hall. Then, she went along a prearranged route through the dark mansion, checking all the locks were secure. She walked down the hall, checking every window. There was no humans on Rakanjima other than those connected to the family, so locking up didn't really serve much of a purpose. No one had been in the habit of locking up at the Ushiromiya head family, at least not until Natsuhi had scolded them for being so careless. The metal fixtures on the windows were ice cold, and as she checked them one by one, the glow in her heart seemed to cool down.
That's not a good sound.
At that time, she thought she had seen something twinkling across the hall. Twinkling? How could anything be twinkling through that darkness of the hall? She figured she must have been imagining it, but she still held her breath. Grasping a curtain, she fearfully gazed down the hall. However, other than the occasional creak of thunder brightening the hallway, she was unable to glimpse any flicker again. It must have been her imagination after all. Maybe her heart was so agitated that she had seen something that didn't exist. Shannon went back to check through the windows. However, a certain unnerving memory had resurrected in the back of her head. It was that ghost story which had been passed down amongst the servants who served the Ushiromiya head family. The mansion had two different masters, one of the day and one of the night. The Atarichi, the master of the night, would sometimes fly around the mansion in the form of sparkling butterflies. That was the story. Come to think of it, didn't Kanon-kun once say he had seen it with his own eyes? Though he got sulky when I said he must have imagined it and refused to believe him. Could it possibly be true? The roar of the thunder gave no answer. It's Beatrice.
Beatrice. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh, there's the epitaph. That's not
The
beneath the painting. I've been lied to. What?
Where is it?
On the left.
Where? Oh, it is on the left.
Tablet.
How could they deceive us like this?
We got the magical girl ribbon on her shirt.
she got the. Oh. Oh, they're talking. Bro, he's just fucking standing there. Okay. Okay. Alright. Alright.
I don't even know what room they're in.
Are we establishing their positions? Because something freaky is gonna happen.
Yeah, I think they
tonight.
are just showing. I don't know what room Kumasawa is. I forgot which house she's in. And we don't even
She's
know
in
where
the
Nandu
guest-
is. He just had a black background.
He's supposed to have. I don't know.
Hey, why didn't we show Natsu? Oh, I got an achievement.
What is it?
Called
They
24
finished
o'clock.
episode
All the places are in peace, and I didn't read the rest. I say all the places. All the pieces are in place.
Oh shit.
We've reached midnight.
Something's gonna happen.
Oh my god. Nothing ever happens.
Something will happen eventually.
I love that. Nothing ever happened. It's 6 a.m.
So something has to happen.
The second day. October 5th. Or is that March 10th? It's March 10th. It's not March, it's May 10th. Genji tightened his bow tie and looked through the window crack. What the fuck? Genji tightened his bow tie and looked outside through the crack in the curtains. Maybe the rain had died down a bit since the previous night, but the thick rain clouds didn't seem like they'd let any trace of the morning sun get by. The morning was dim and far from refreshing. It seems this will last all day after all.
お待たせしました、源氏様。
Sorry to keep you waiting, Genji-sama.
Kennen finished checking his appearance and exited the washroom. On their normal schedule, it was rare for anyone to have suffered going straight from a midnight shift to an early morning shift. They're on a special schedule for the 2 days of the family conference. However, unless the typhoon passed today, the relatives stayed on their island would last until tomorrow. Kennen thought it would be best to prepare for the special schedule to last an extra day. The two of them left the guest house, opening their umbrellas. The rose garden had been devastated by the wind and the rain of the previous night. Even though they had spent several days making it beautiful to welcome the guests, one stormy night was enough to ruin it. Okay, this is the guest house? Yeah, this is the first time we've actually seen it.
Which one was supposed to be the hotel? Like, which
This is the
building was
hotel.
guest- No, it's lame as hell.
I guess you could call it a hotel. Looks like it'd be about like...
Looks more like an inn.
Yeah,
Or
it's
like
more like
a-
an inn. It's not a big one. I was expecting giant building. Tall. Massive. And inside. The two headed for the mansion. They were supposed to meet up with Goda and prepare breakfast. Goda was such a perfectionist that he'd probably already woken up and was already preparing a breakfast as exquisite and elegant as glasswork. They reached their overhang by the entrance of the mansion and folded up their umbrellas. Genji took a bundle of several keys from his pocket and unlocked the front door. The Ushiromiya family mansion was the only thing on Rokkenjima, so in the past they hadn't been in the habit of locking it up. Guess we're emphasizing this again. However, Natsuya ordered the mansion to be locked up earlier. Residents then unlocking the door in the early morning. I don't care. The task has been given to Genji and Kennen, so that Goda could start preparing breakfast as soon as he had woken up. Mountains had fallen in the mansion and giving the impression that the mansion itself was still asleep. Well then, let us begin the morning chores.
はい。
Yes, sir.
The two of them split up and began opening the curtains throughout the mansion. What do you say?
This is the main house. This is like
Yeah.
the same. That's confusing.
Yeah, I do wish they had different art. The curtains stayed closed. The mansion would remain enveloped in a faint darkness, as though it was still trapped in the previous night. Following the well-rehearsed procedure, Cannon went around the mansion, opening the curtains from one window to another without having to retrace his step once. He maxes paddling. It's like the fucking jungle camps.
I hate jungle camps. Hate jungling. Hate playing jungle.
Even without the horrible weather, drawing the curtains made it feel just like a little bit like the morning. Bro, there's like fucking so many lights in this hallway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
How do you turn off the lights? Like, do you turn off each individual one, or is it like? I don't think you need that many lights, dude.
They got the painting lights. They got ceiling lights.
Window
And
lights.
yeah.
I guess. I didn't realize that. Why do they have so many lights?
While doing that, he passed in front of the kitchen. Even though he hadn't smelled anything yet, his stomach started aching for Goda's prized cooking.
おはようございます。
Good morning. Huh? Someone's dead.
Tried to greet Goda, who should have been getting breakfast ready, but Goda was nowhere to be seen. The kitchen was darkly lit, and not only were the curtains not open, but the fan wasn't even running. It was still cold without any trace of the fire being lit, so of course there were no signs of breakfast being made either. And a DoorDash. Though it would have been inexcusable, perhaps Goda had overslept. Even servants are only human. They sometimes sleep in and show up late. Rare case that happens, it's part of a servant's code to hide the unsightly scene before anyone notices, smoothly cover it up. And make sure the family never ever realizes that anything had gone wrong. Anna took the receiver of the phone that had been fitted to the wall and dialed the number of the extension line to the servant's sleeping room. He couldn't hear the characteristic sound of the dial tone. Cannon tried picking up the receiver again, but even so, he couldn't hear the dial tone. He tried dialing again, but to no apparent effect. The lightning last night have damaged the machine breaking the extension line. The equipment in the mansion was all worn out. Cannon fully understood that even the slightest thing could have caused it to break down. He gave up trying to wake Goda with the phone and dashed over to the servant's sleeping room. Excuse me.
They're dead.
How long had it been since I stopped sleeping and started lazily staring up at the ceiling? The vague sense of awakening was part of Natsuhi's usual morning experience. She always slept lightly and couldn't sleep all the way without medicine. To Natsuhi, sleep was definitely not a happy thing. When she looked outside, she saw that it was still pouring. She hadn't sensed a tiny amount of light. She might have mistakenly thought it was still the previous night. She herself was one of the hosts, so she mustn't wake up later than her guest. Urging herself on, she raised up her body, which still hadn't completely recovered from yesterday's weariness. No one would torment her as long as she remained inside this room. Is this her bedroom? Because that bed is for like one person. Do they sleep in separate beds?
I think so.
Her heartache wouldn't get any worse here. This room was the only place she could find peace, so when she left, it meant returning to the world where her husband and siblings kept trying to stab each other in the back. In that case, wouldn't it be better to just stay locked up in this room forever? That ridiculous notion brought a bitter smile to Natsuhi's face. I was gonna say, well, I don't think we've seen her smile at all. There he started. I'm not sure she's been happy.
I don't think I would be happy.
She often complained about Kinzo staying locked up in his own room and refusing to attend to everybody else. The truth was she longed to do the same. Natsuhi gave her head a small shake and her fantasy was replaced by the reawakening of her usual headache. When she reached for the doorknob, trying to leave the room, her hand touched the scorpion charm that had been hung from it before going to sleep the previous night. And it's not there. It was Maria's charm which Natsuhi had received from Jessica.
If they drew it, then they couldn't, like, you know...
They drew the doorknob, but they didn't want to add the charm.
If they added this charm, then they would not be able to use that thing again, you know?
Didn't Jessica say something about it, and having the power to repel magic, telling her to hang it up on her doorknob? Maybe it was thanks to the charm last night. Wait, maybe it was thanks to the charm that at least this room had been protected from the malice of her husband's siblings. As she thought this, her mood began to get a little more cheerful.
I wonder if I have to take Jessica to thank for the little bit of peaceful sleep I managed to receive.
And Natsuki remembered. That's right, last night I promised Jessica that I'd give her the charm of my own in exchange for this one, didn't I? He opened the drawer in the dresser and took out an antique accessory case that she had treasured when she was a child. Inside there were many small objects that Natsuki had thought were valuable at the time. Amidst those, she pulled out a red pouch. Inside was a small round mirror about 10 centimeters across. It looked quite old, but the design of the back of the mirror was very ornate, and it felt like something with historical value. At the very least, it seemed much more authentic than the other charm, which looked like a plastic scorpion keychain. Like a fucking McDonald's toy. But she heard that...
It's 3D printed without the smoothing of the ridges.
This was a spiritual mirror for warding off evil spirits and had been given it especially by her grandmother when her grandfather's mementos had been distributed. It had been believed that since long ago that a strange power resided in this mirror. Perhaps people thought it could reflect calamity and malice in the same way that it reflected light. He returned the mirror to its pouch. It would probably be a fitting object to hand over to Jessica. Just as she was placing it in her pocket, the sound of someone knocking on the door suddenly echoed throughout the room.
Yes?
Good morning, madam. It is Genji. My apologies for waking you up so early.
I'm coming now. What is it?
No servant had ever come here this early in the morning, nor had they come to wake her in person. Perhaps something bad had happened. Maybe some fatal oversight that had been made when she was while preparing breakfast. Something that should shame the household in front of their guest. So he took a deep breath in anticipation for whatever troubles she was about to hear. When she opened the door, Genji once again gave a morning greeting while bowing deeply. He tentatively responded.
Good morning.
So, this visual has been trying to keep things serious. Explain why they all wear the same clothes still the next day.
I don't know. I think some of their outfits are like goofy as hell. Like some of them, like they have like a realistic, more respectful sense. Like
these are just suits which are fine. I mean, this is
that's weird. Like I think her outfit's weird. His is like, I guess their suits are. I don't know why there's a purple stripe underneath her titties, but like it's okay. Like she has the best outfit of everyone because it makes the most sense. But then like people like Shannon for some reason just have her dress cut and then like a big wide gap, and then there's like a freaking like strap trying to close the gap. It's kind of weird.
saying my immersion's being ruined. They don't have different outfits.
I don't want to spend the time drawing different outfits. Morning. Did something happen?
My apologies. My apologies. It would seem that the telephones had broken down due to the lightning last night. The extension telephone isn't working, so please forgive my coming to see you directly.
The extension telephone isn't working. That will be troublesome. Will it be possible to fix it?
I'm afraid we don't know the location of the damage. Later on, I would like to call in an expert and have him repair it.
Does that mean we'll be unable to have it repaired after the typhoon passes? Then it'll be really broken, down for the duration of our guest's stay. It will hamper our efforts to take care of our guests. Will that hamper?
We will do all we can to ensure there are no problems.
Very well. Counting on you to make sure we have no blunders.
He let out a small sigh of relief. He had been prepared for the worst, but damage to the telephone poles wasn't the kind of thing she was worried about. Then again, even this would probably be enough to spark sarcasm from Ava. Atsuhi gave her head a light shake.
Are the preparations for breakfast proceeding well?
As to that, we haven't been able to find Goda. The arrangements for breakfast have yet to be carried out.
What did you say?
She was indignant. To her, this was a much bigger problem than the phone's not working, because she's the head of the kitchen. And despite that, this piece of information was the part that that had been postponed. Why did everything go well for most of the time and then come to something like this when the relatives were visiting? So he put her head in her forehead and shook her hand. Put her hand to her forehead and shook her head.
大方朝寝坊でもしているのでしょう。
Well, I suppose he slept
とに
in.
かく
At
誰でも
any
いいから
rate,
急い
just
で朝
see
食の準
to
備
it
を。
someone hurries and prepares breakfast. I don't care who. Oh,
She exited into the hallway and turned around for a second and closed the door to her room. The creepy thing she saw there silenced her completely. It was an unpleasant sight, as though someone had dipped their fingers into a reddish-black liquid and scratched at the door around the doorknob. It was probably some sort of awful prank, arranged by someone who wanted to make it look like they tried to force the door open with bloody hands.
ugh,
これは
what sort of prank
何のい
is
たずらだ
this?
悪趣味な。
How awful.
I also just noticed it as I came to call you. I will clean it later.
大方
Perhaps
趣味の悪い客人の冗談で
this is a
しょう。
vulgar joke by one of our guests.
But who visiting knows what her room is, where her room is? I don't think anybody would. I mean, this place is massive.
不愉快です。実に不愉快です。
Disgusting. Truly disgusting.
Who in the world would pull such a childish and disgusting prank? She had a pretty good idea, but of course there was no proof. Though even if she pursued the issue, it would just seem as though she was making a fuss about nothing. In fact, it would surely be better to act as though she hadn't even realized that such a prank had been played on her. Natsuhi gave the order to have it cleaned and headed off to the parlor with a squeak of her heels. Ernie. While Natsuhi and Genji arrived in the parlor, Ava and Hideyoshi were already there.
おはようございます。皆さん。
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, morning, Natsuhi. I heard Goda-san would be making us breakfast too. My stomach's been getting all excited since I woke up. Wahaha.
本家の楽しみは食事くらいが正解です
After
も
all,
んね
it seems like seems food is all you can look forward to as the head of family house. At the head. Okay. I'm pleased to see that you're two are in high spirits so early in the morning, Ava-san.
With a weird expression, Natsuhi returned Ava's gaze, which was fiercely competitive despite the early hour. And Kanon jogged in. After bowing in apologies for the relatives for running inside the mansion, he noticed Genji and told him something in a small voice.
カノン、ゴーダはまだ見つからないのですか。
Have you still not found Goda?
申し訳ございません、奥様。
Apologies, ma'am.
お屋敷内もゲストハウスも
I
回
went
った
all
の
over
ですが
inside of the mansion and the guest house,
まだ
but I still haven't found him.
一体どこへ行ったというので
Where
す
in the world has he
とりあえ
gone?
ず今はゴーダ
At
よ
any
り朝
rate,
食の準
breakfast is a
備
high
が先決です
priority than finding Goda right now.
至急対応しなさい
See to it immediately.
Alright, time to bust out the microwavable breakfast.
Hey, it's not
Hi.
that bad. Get them like a happy meal. Yes.
Kanon glanced at Genji. It seemed he had something else to report, but was uncertain whether or not words should come from him. Genji nodded and decided to give the report himself. Madam, it is not only Goda. Your husband is also nowhere to be found.
主人が
They got eloped.
My husband? Oh. That was the secret all along.
Yes. Even before visiting you, I went to his room to tell him that they sleep separately. I went to his room to tell him that breakfast wasn't being prepared and I did not find him there. Furthermore, he is not the only one missing. Rudolph-sama, his wife, whose name I don't care about, and Rosa-sama all are nowhere to be found.
ゲストハウスにも
Not in the guest house?
屋敷にもですか
Nor the mansion?
あはい
Yes.
ゲストハウスのお部屋にもおられません
Not in the guest house either.
When she'd heard that Goda alone was missing, she assumed he had slept in or was loafing around somewhere. However, now that she'd learned that several other relatives were also nowhere to be seen, she began to take a slightly more optimistic view. Last night's family conference has continued all night up until the present moment? If so, then they might have wanted to cool their heads after being shut in a stuffy room, going out for walks, on the run through the rain. The part about cooling their heads really sounded like something Cross would say. Goda had probably been summoned to accompany them and aid them in some way. Goda was not a man who lost track in time. He had to understand that preparations for breakfast would be hindered if he did not return. However, maybe the family conference had continued until this very moment. If an atmosphere like that would make it hard for anyone to slip out. Yes, that theory would be quite convincing for Natsuhi. You remember that illusion she had felt in the morning, as though the previous night had never ended. When she learned that the feeling wasn't just an illusion, she once again took a deep, weary breath. For all that banquet was filthy vultures circling around Kinzo's property was still going on.
Perhaps they're still discussing the inheritance somewhere in the garden. Or maybe the beach. At any rate, if we don't call Goda back, we'll never be able to begin preparations for breakfast.
So, what are you saying? Are Nissan and the rest still continuing their discussion? He had planned to say it in a small voice, but Hideyoshi overheard Natsuhi and managed to grasp the situation.
Nissan and Rudolph for sure are tough. Maybe it's just youth in Rosa's case. Just a bit after midnight, the two of us were so tired that we headed back to bed. Bro, Rudolph said he was gonna die and not to chase after him.
It's true, he did say that.
He's probably fucking dead, and then Battler's gonna be like, why didn't I fucking chase after my old man? Though I do remember that Nissan and the rest were still having a heated discussion at that point. Men certainly aren't pleasant when they get all varied up.
Natsuhi snorted, her face still blank.
Kano? So it snorted.
Hua.
Toa, Cannon, search outside. If you find Goda, tell him to return immediately and begin preparing breakfast. Certainly. Natsuhi-san, we don't know for sure if they're outside, do we? Could they also be inside of Father's study?
I see, that's certainly possible. I don't know what path their conversation took, but there's certainly a chance they moved to Father's study to let him in on the discussion.
I can't...
That's you.
I can't imagine that Father would willingly let them bring such a detestable topic into the study. You really think so? Then there's nothing you can do. I'm sorry, Genji and Kanon. Could you search outside? It wouldn't be strange for Nissan to suggest they go outside for a walk to cool their heads. Even in this weather, I'll go to Father's study. Who knows, they might actually be there after all. I can ask a guest like you to concern herself so. I will go... I can also wish him a good morning while I'm at it. Well, then I'll be in your hands. Though I somehow doubt he'll be returning your greeting.
Yeah, I don't have to read anything. Thank God.
Natsuhi-san, have you always been on such good terms with Father? I don't know whether you could call it
後
that.
ろ宮家の跡継ぎの妻を許されるだけの信頼を得ていると確信しています。
But I'm sure that I've gained the trust of the wife successor of the Ushiromia family.
ならきっと返事くらいはしてくれるわね。
What? Said what earlier? Wait.
Oh, wait a sec. Huh? Me? Need to pause for a sec. unfortunately, it is late and I have to go to bed. So we're just gonna end it here with the mystery of where the hell is everybody? Where is everybody? And we'll pick this up maybe tomorrow. I'm not too sure. I'm much busier on weekdays, so it's just up in the air. So yeah, we're gonna end it right now. See ya.